The Landmine Survivor Network is an international non-governmental organization with its headquarters in Washington, D.C. of the United States of America. Presently, LSN has network offices in 6 countries, including Vietnam, El Salvador, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Colombia, Jordan, and Ethiopia. LSN Vietnam is the youngest network, established in Bo Trac District, Quang Binh Province in March of 2003. Since this time, the network has expanded to Dong Hoi City, the capital of Quang Binh Province, and has increased the number of communes it services from 6 to 38. LSN's mission is to empower individuals, families, and communities affected by landmines to recover from trauma, reclaim their lives, and fulfill their rights. Quang Binh Province, Vietnam is home to thousands of individuals who have lost limbs, become blind, or suffered some other form of trauma as a result of landmines, unexploded ordnance, or other accidents. Many survivors often have difficulty coming to terms with their injuries and have little hope for the future, overwhelmed by the barriers that people with disabilities often face when seeking employment and social participation. LSN Vietnam provides these individuals with the assistance they need to recover from physical and mental pain, find secure, meaningful sources of income, and reintegrate into their communities. Through peer support visits by outreach workers, who are themselves survivors of landmines and UXO accidents, LSN Vietnam is able to make an empathetic connection with survivors, expediting the process of recovery. Tran Thi Hoai Linh lives with her mother in Trung Trac Commune, Bo Trac District. In the summer of 2006, Linh lost her left arm in an accident at the local brick manufacturer, where she had to work to support her continued education. Upon returning home from the hospital, she became depressed and was reluctant to leave the comfort of her home. Linh worried that some people would discriminate against her, and she was beginning to think that school was no longer an option. Shortly after Linh's return home, Mr. Tuan, one of LSN Vietnam's 8 outreach workers, began visiting her, sharing his experiences with the injury he had suffered and offering advice on how to cope with the physical and emotional pain she was experiencing. Since these initial visits in July of 2006, Linh has been provided with a bicycle, an education fee, and a desk and table, which have enabled her to continue pursuing her high school education. When I have difficulty coping with my injury, Mr. Tuan and the Landmine Survivors Network are always there to encourage me and have provided me with the emotional and material support I need to fulfill my dreams and goals. Thanks to the network, I have been admitted by the university and continue my path forward. I would like to express my sincere gratitude to Mr. Tuan and the Landmine Survivors Network. I will never forget what the LSN-V has done for me. In conjunction with peer support, the provision of health-related goods and services, and support for income generation are important components of the LSN program. After years of social exclusion and mobility challenges, many survivors live in poverty and require financial and material assistance, whether it be to open their own business, receive vocational training, purchase mobility devices, or to acquire a number of other health, economic, and social services. As of 2007, LSN Vietnam direct assistance grants have provided material support to nearly 370 survivors with the aim of improving health status, living conditions, and income. For survivors of landmines, unexploded ordnance, and other physically impairing accidents, the fundamental ability to provide for oneself and one's family is a crucial and oftentimes challenging step in the recovery process. People with disabilities in all parts of the world have historically had difficulties finding meaningful employment. In Vietnam, with over 3.5 million people with disabilities of working age, this pattern still holds true. To help survivors overcome these socioeconomic barriers, LSN Vietnam links and refers survivors to microcredit institutions, vocational training centers, business groups, and other potential employers. LSN Vietnam has provided consultations and direct assistance grants to nearly 250 survivors interested in establishing their own businesses. Mr. Tran Van Shun, a carpenter living in Botrac district, had both of his legs amputated due to an artery blockage and was severely frustrated and depressed with the physical pain and immobilization he was experiencing. After frequent peer support visits with LSN-V outreach workers and provision of pain medication and a power saw, Mr. Shun now has a successful carpentry business. Another resident of Botrac, Mr. Bui Xuan Tan, was also experiencing great difficulties after being paralyzed due to a landmine accident suffered after the war. With no wife or family to provide the emotional and physical support he needed, Dan became suicidal. Understanding his hardship, Mr. Duan and the Landmine Survivors Network in Vietnam have provided Dan with encouragement and material assistance, repairing his home and upgrading his waterworks. Dan now sells quality bamboo products to his community, including woven baskets and fish traps. His products have been selected for display in the National Exhibition of Products Produced by People with Disabilities, together with the products of other LSN-V initiated business groups. LSN Vietnam also provides emergency assistance to people with disabilities in times of need. Mr. Dan Van Duc and Mr. Nguyen Viet Sin of Dong Hoi had their fishing boats and gear damaged during a tropical storm. LSN Vietnam has provided each of them with a boat and fishing nets so that they can continue their work.